name's Alun Woodward and I'm a director at Chemikal Underground.
I thought I could forever be your passenger, as we gently raced beneath the trees of B roads and C roads, watching for fauna and singing along to that classic love CD we found in the hired car.
We were going to be called something else, and then I used to DJ in a club in England with a guy, and he came up with a name called Chemical Beats because he was really into a lot of like things like Aphex Twin and stuff, and I thought Chemical Underground was a good name for a record label, particularly because it didn't fit with the music we were releasing at the time. At the time, to call yourself Chemical anything was really dance orientated and much more electronic. So the fact that we were releasing ostensibly underground indie music, it seemed quite amusing. But it's just stuck now, you know, and it just seems like a really ordinary name, and of course anybody can be called Chemical Underground, but at the time it just seemed to be a poor match, and that was the reason.
A weekend away from pills and paranoia was the plan, so we headed for familiar territory.
It's a really strange thing, because if you take Glasgow and you take Edinburgh, and there's been a few good bands have come out of Edinburgh, I'm not taking anything away from that, but I think that by and large Glasgow has been incredibly strong for, I don't know, a long time, and I don't know why so many people are in bands. I don't know why so many people are actually in really good bands. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's loads of people in Glasgow that are in shit bands. The worst bands you will ever hear are right here in Glasgow, you know, and that's, you know, but as a percentage, I think it's pretty high of those bands that are actually very good. I used to wonder if it was because it's so wet. I know it's actually dry today, but I wondered if it was because it was so wet, and all these kids when they're growing up, you know, I don't think we're a very fit city, you know, we don't really do a lot of sport, they're not known for being particularly healthy, and I wonder if it's people staying in their houses, listening to records when they're wee guys, learning to play guitars. I don't know, I really don't know, but I think sometimes that it's quite supportive, and you'll go to a concert and there's maybe 40 people there to see a band that's touring from, I don't know, somewhere Europe or the States or Australia, and you kind of recognise or know maybe 25 people in there because they play in bands. So I think it's quite a supportive place. I think there's a lot of good venues, there's good record shops, and I think from that perspective that we there's opportunities for bands that maybe are harder to come by in other cities.
I used to swim over there, but that pub's gone downhill.
I really like Monorail. If you don't know if you've been down to there yet, I think it's I really like the guys that work there. You know, they're great recommendations for new records. There's a venue next to it as well. From a record company point of view, it's a great place because you can have a launch for one of your bands there, and then you've got the shop selling the records, and it's just they're good people and it's good to work. Another event, my favourite maybe small venue would be Nice and Sleazy. I think it's I've always loved seeing bands there, and I really like small venues because, again, if you go and see a band and there's not many people there, the band can get really into it, because even if you've got 25 people in a really small room, it actually looks all right, so the band aren't feeling in any way stressed or bothered or things. So as far as venues and record shops are concerned, then I'd say Monorail and Nice and Sleazy's.
These pictures of friends and exes.
You know, since maybe sort of 2000 and something onwards, people have focused on the art school because of not so much people who attended the art school, because a lot of people who are associated with the art school didn't actually go to the art school. They just went drinking there on a Saturday night. But I don't know if it's a massive influence. I personally don't really see the art school as being it. I think more the clubs within the art school, like Optimo or whatever, you know, are more important than the actual institution itself. Yeah, I'm making a record just now. Very slowly making a record just now. Yeah, but yeah, I'm a kind of person. I get obsessed with things. So once I get started on something, I really devote myself to it. So between the last album being finished and this record, I've maybe written 4 albums of stuff, but I just keep scrapping it. So I just need to make a decision.
And the burdens we bore